Questions for Coach?
I haven't looked at any stats.
Joe, how'd you guys win that game?
Great kids' character. Some real poor coaching the first 10 minutes of the game. We thought that with our big lineup, we could exploit matchup with Josh Martin and try to get him as a 3, post him up as a 3-man, curl him. We put way too much pressure on Josh to get the ball in positions. He felt too much pressure. He tried to create more than he needs to. That's my fault. And at least I didn't wait to halftime. We said, look, we took 2 timeouts in the first half. One was just to say, hey, we're not playing that bad. I'm coaching poorly. The second one was, hey, catch your breath. We'll make a few buckets. Let's get to single digits at half. And the character of the kids, you know, there was a comment made on radio that after getting down by 20 to Fresno State and after getting down by 20 to Princeton, you wonder if the kids just pack it in there. And the character of kids, not the confidence, the character, because you can have a lot of confidence, but then when you get punched in the face, you kind of drop your head. And they believed in our coaching changes. We said, let's change on how we approach the game. We went to a bunch of motion action, and then we went to just Don having the ball on what we call our 1-5 action, which is basically a 1-man and 5-man running what we call our wiper screens. And we were able to get to the paint. And once we were able to do that, you could see the game changing. You could see the flow of the game, not putting so much pressure on one guy to do anything, but letting Don score if he could, but kick out. And that got Vic involved. It got Celis involved. Josh even got a dump down off that. So once the game got close. And then it was just a phenomenal ending, a wacky ending, a crazy ending. But the fun part about that, it's a play that we've run. One of the things on the baseline, there's a screen that we set so that you can get a good vision, but you got blasted over there. And I thought for sure they at least had called that part, but when we got the ball all the way to midcourt, the idea is Don was a former quarterback. And so the play that we ran was Don on the baseline that can throw a hard snapping pass so nobody can intercept it. And that hard pass allows Luke to catch it and get into shooting motion.
Yeah, I heard Don said that you put in that play yesterday.
Well, we actually had run it a month ago, but we actually reviewed it on a card. We put it in on a card, so it was in the Rolodex.
Yeah.
But it hadn't been refreshed, and so that was something we said, okay, and we ran it yesterday. We practiced it yesterday. I said, Don, you just zip that to somebody, and anything under, and there's different ways to do that. I won't give away the 3 options on it. But there's other options that you can play with that with 2 seconds or less to be able to get a shot to get the ball advanced.
So, I mean, have you ever seen a play like that where there's a second left and a guy gets fouled on a shot like that and essentially has to make walk-off free throws?
On TV. As a basketball coach, I'm around a lot of basketball games. I watch a lot of games. I think that's got to be the most nerve-wracking 3 free throws of a kid's life. The great part about watching Luke up there is he was loose. He was happy. He was smiling. And first one went in, you know that, okay, you got one, you make one of 2 to go ahead and put into overtime. And then go ahead and get a second one. We still wanted to bring the big guys in there, maybe tip in if it happened to miss. And that one was pure, and just having a couple more bodies there. And what a classic college basketball game.
Midway through the second half, you talked about coaching changes. What did you feel like was kind of the key besides just kind of going back to maybe not trying to exploit Josh in the post? I know he had 3 turnovers real early there. What else were the keys there in that first half? Because I feel like, I don't know, there was no energy in the place. It felt like you guys were kind of like, okay, is this going to happen? Like you said on the radio, are they going to fold it in? What's going to happen here? And then kind of inside the 10-minute mark, things kind of slowly started to happen there.
Well, we threw different bodies in there. We threw Mark Crow in there in a zone and see if we could change that. We threw Kuba in there for a minute to see if that would make any difference there. And one of the things that we wanted to have was a guy low enough and quick enough to guard through their 3 outstanding guards. They got 3 great guards in there. And I thought Trevor John's minutes were real critical for us. I thought his basketball IQ and he just take the right shots at the right time, that guys have confidence. Now, once Trevor makes a shot, you know darn well you're not leaving and helping off of him. And that opened it up that much more for Don and Vic to attack. And then Luke hit a couple shots. I think what was Luke from the 3-point line?
2 of 3.
Yeah, Luke was 2 of 3. And I thought that opened up the court that much more. So we went to a smaller lineup and not trying to play Josh with Luke. and went with flip-flop. And from that, after the first 10 minutes, we never went back to that except for the first 4 minutes of the opening half. And that just gives us so much more space when you get a real shooter out there the whole time.
Talk about, go ahead.
Oh, I want to talk big picture stuff. I mean, you guys were struggling coming into this game. UCSB was playing really well. Big picture stuff, does this feel like a game where you can turn the corner here into conference play?
Well, I think the big picture was that the schedule that we put together helps us get ready for a game like this, where it's like, you know what, we can beat these guys. And once you turn that, I thought we turned the corner 10 minutes into the game. I think that the notion for me of trying to find what's best for each team, every year is a new set of chemistry, and it takes a while. Heck, I go back 4 years ago when we beat Santa Barbara. We got beat by 15 on our home court and went back down and beat them by 30 to get to the Big West Tournament Championship. And it took me 27, 28 games to be a smart coach to figure out what beats each team. Every game and every team is completely different. Why do I love coaching? It's not ever boring. Everybody has different emotions. Every year you have different strengths, different weaknesses. Kids need a different amount of discipline and encouragement, and it's a huge Rubik's Cube. And very rarely do you have a chance of just figuring out the Rubik's Cube perfectly the first time. And I think that 10-minute mark, it wasn't a habit. 10-minute mark, I found like we just need to stop thinking and just play and move and attack in space. And I think that we found the confidence that's necessary there. And then with that, you can see it carried on to when we ran the last play. Actually, there was two, just to mention one other thing, that if you back up, when it was a 1-point game, I was considering fouling intentionally so they couldn't shoot a 3 and make it a 2-possession game. But we said we'll switch every screen and make them have to drive the ball or post up and get a 2. And if they get something close, just foul them then. And it worked perfectly because they rolled back and Trevor was there and had a good hard foul, and then King ended up missing one free throw. And so now you're at we go down and score. Now it's a tied game, but then he hits the dagger, but it's only a 2. When he hits it, it's a 2-point game, not even a 3-point game, to put in overtime. And that play before the play of Trevor's foul, I thought that was as critical play there is in the game, because we win the game because of the 3 made free throws, but we get the chance to win the game because we switch the top screen so they can't shoot the 3. He rolls, he throws in there, Trevor fouls him, he makes 1 and 2. Gives us a fighting chance to stay in the mathematical equation. You still have to make a shot, play, and free throws. I get all that. But you have to be mathematically in the game, and our guys are listening and take a new play and talk about timeouts, and the eyes are there. And I think we matured a lot tonight.
Joe, none of your guards had a turnover tonight. Donovan, 22 points, 6 assists. Just talk about his floor game if you can, in terms of how he controlled the game. Especially
well, again, I think he could have had 26 points and 8 assists if I would have figured out just keep the ball in his hands at the start of the game. And we got the ball out of his hands, and we just tried to do too many things with forcing the ball here and there, and so we learned a lot. And I'm just glad we had 30 minutes of smart basketball to make it a basketball game and end up being 1-0 in conference play, because we figured out that that's the guy. We got to keep the ball in his hands, and I thought he was excellent tonight. And I don't give that to point guards very often unless they have 22 points, 6 assists, and 0 turnovers. Then they get an excellent rating from the old point guard.
Was he a good quarterback in high school? How was he?
I didn't recruit him as a quarterback. I have no idea. I guarantee you, if you ask him, he says he was a great quarterback. Okay.
I bet he got out and ran a little bit. So you coming up here on Saturday is Fullerton, a team with some really good guards, some good wing players. Got a win over Riverside last night. Even when maybe everybody wasn't shooting very well. Tell me about Fullerton and how you're going to get these guys kind of off this high and focused on.
Well, as I mentioned on the radio, I don't want our guys off this high. I mean, when a team goes low, your job is to pull them up out of the ditch. When a team is high, I'm supposed to pat them on the back and say, let's ride the wave of energy and positive influence. So we got to have energy to ride this and have a great practice and great film sessions. As far as Fullerton goes, I had a chance last night. The game was on ESPN 3 against Riverside, so I was able to get back to the house and watch that game. And that was the first time I'd actually seen them play this year. with all the other scouts that go on and so forth. And they have both freshmen of the year for the last 2 years, and they're growing up. And I think that they got great rim protection, shot blocker. Like Jalen Canty tonight was great rim protector. He was He was California State Player of the Year, and got himself eligible, and he's a monster down there now. And they have that same kind of rim protection at the 5 spot. At the 4 is the Rowe kid that was freshman of the year. I'm telling you what, he shoots the 3, he posts up. It's like going against Leland King. Leland King's an excellent player and a 5th-year transfer from Nevada. And so we're going against great teams and great talent, and all 3 of the guards. Smith's running the shows a point, but then you got Ahmad really stroking the ball well and attacking, and just they got a great balanced team. It's going to be like that all throughout the Big West. I had mentioned before, I said, who's going to win the Big West? I said, who stays healthy, number 1. Who wins 3 close games, number 2. And then who gels and figures out who their team is. And hopefully we're still in that mix, because we got one of the close games that, this wasn't a game that go either way. This is a game that was in Santa Barbara's pocket most of the night with a 21-point lead. And at the end of the game, when you think, hey, this is over, how are you going to score with 1 second to go? So, well, we have a little trick up the sleeve. Give it a chance and see what happens. And thank you, Donovan and Luke, for paying attention to the play that we practiced yesterday.
All right. And the ref for having the guts to make the call. Usually a ref doesn't make the call in that spot. You see that, that's why you rarely see it, I think.
The right call.